Takers and givers, I've been called the latter. But am I really a giver if I don't give to myself?
What's up, y'all, and happy release day to me. Rhayne Coleman. I am the love story architect. I write stories about Black folks in various situations, and currently I am in my love story bag. I am the author of Loving Ashley, the first book in the Lover Boys series, set in the fictional city of 𝘾𝙗𝓚. If you'd like to get a little bit more detail into that, make sure to check out the playlist where I go through the whole building process. Still more to come in the future. Man, what a feeling. What a feeling. So I am here. This is June 10th. This is the release of the paperback over there on Amazon. Of course, that link will be in the show notes in the description. Make sure to check that out. But y'all, I'm here and I don't even know how to feel. For those of you watching, it looks like I'm in a cave. I'm in my deep, dark headquarters where I lock myself in when it comes time to write these books, and I forgot the key. So I'm just stuck down here until somebody comes to let me out. Loving Ashley was a journey. So it's June 10th. It's Tuesday. The paperback has released. The ebook will be released on KDP. This is a Kindle Unlimited book for the time being, and that will be on the 13th on Friday. I hope you guys who are the Kindle readers going over and make sure you hit that pre-order button. You still have time, so it'll go directly to your Kindle. And if you're finding this after the 13th, go ahead and search Loving Ashley Rhayne Coleman in your Kindle search bar, find it, and get to reading. So the whole process has been a little bit surreal for me. I have been documenting my journey really since the beginning. This journey started with the fictional city. So I spent a lot of time developing the city, the infrastructure, the schools, the businesses, the import exports of this city. What does this city look like? What is it a combination of? What feeling did I have from cities that I've lived in or visited before that I can invoke, infuse into this story? And from that came a story that I wanted to tell. I've not put my hands on yet, but a political thriller story that I wanted to tell. But I knew in order to get the city up and running, I needed to do something else. I didn't want to come out with some, look at this mayor and look at this gubernatorial race. I didn't want to do all that. And so my comfort bag space has always been contemporary stories. I always say love stories because I think romance, when you have certain um, genre expectations, my stories don't always meet those, and so I always lean on love story over romance, because every story doesn't always get a happily ever after, but a lot get a happily for now. But Ashley's story, the story we're here to talk about, is the first of three, and I got through this story relatively quickly, faster than I had any other book in previous books, and it was a shock to me. It was a big surprise. I actually, I don't know. I felt a little not bad, but I was cautious. I'll say, because I got through it so quickly and it was so fun to write, and because I had gone years of writing but not getting a story to the end like I had with this book, and so quickly, I was a little nervous. I'll say that, for lack of a better word, I was nervous, and didn't really need to be, because the book is great. It's phenomenal. Those of you who've read it, you know, and if you haven't, you will know once you read it. Read that book. But I got through it so quickly after, like, I don't want to say writer's block, but for a shorthand, kind of years of writer blocks, starting stories, getting to a point where I couldn't finish them. I was originally a pantser growing up, and then kind of morphed into a plotter, and now I'm this hybrid version of pantser plotter, where I can plot out a story and do it enough to get the broad strokes, but then leave enough space to do the pantser thing, and that's something I I think more people are like that than would care to admit, but another story for another day. And so with Ashley's story, after going years of starting all of these different projects that I was passionate about and still am, I think I got to a point where like I logged my 10,000 hours of you've been writing for this long, you've been doing this, you've been doing that, your style is evolving, you're getting better. And so I truly believe that Ashley's story was just, what is it? Preparation meets opportunity. And it's like I sat down and this whole brain of mine, wired however it's wired, was like, oh yeah, we're going to finish this book. And we did. So here we are, June 10th, Tuesday, 2025, and the book is done. I am hoping that you guys enjoy this book as much as I did, if not more. I would love a diehard uh Loverboy series stand and be like, yeah, this is my shit. So there's that. So to commemorate this experience, I found some questions for main characters. Now, this isn't unheard of. There are tons of um, documents out there floating around in articles, things that people have come up with on their own of questions you should ask your main character when you're developing your characters. Eh, the book is over and done. And so I thought it would be nice to go through a series of these questions and kind of answer them for Ashley, my main character. If this is your first time ever seeing me, hearing me, knowing anything about this, I write stories right now. The one that's out is the male romance, two black men in the city trying to find love, and it is Loving Ashley. And I'll go over the description for the book. So this is two men, one night, zero consequences. Well, maybe not zero. When Ashley, a people pleasing, hopeless romantic, is stood up on the night of his birthday by his boyfriend of 5 years, he must find the strength to sever ties. He realizes that if he slides back into that unfulfilling cycle, he may never be available for the fairy tale love he has always wanted since grade school. Micho, a no nonsense romantic, has put a much needed distance between himself and a recent set of heartbreaks by moving back home to his hometown, 𝙗𝑠𝑡𝑙𝑖 Since laying eyes on Ashley, Micho has wanted nothing more than to risk another possible heartache by adding Ashley to his life full time. A chance meeting at a neighborhood bodega late at night has Ashley and Micho juggling family issues, loyalty, past mistakes, and growing pains in hopes of securing their own happily ever after. Them my babies. Them is my babies. Lord. Okay, so with that being said, we're going to focus on Ashley. I don't want this video to be too long. And I found a series of questions from Masterclass. And these are, let me see, because I think it was like, so this is 45 questions. I don't think I'm going to answer 45. I think they're broken up a bit. And I'll leave the link to this masterclass article in the show notes as well, just in case you want to look over for your own characters or you find any of the questions or the series of questions interesting. Okay, so here are the first set. Questions about your character's physical appearance. One, how do they style their hair? So Ashley keeps it low, keeps a Caesar, tapered on the sides, faded out, and keeps it clean cut. What kind of clothes do they wear? Being a fraternity guy, when not working and having like lounging around the house, it's usually fraternity gear or some college gear. But for the most part, pretty casual, jeans and t-shirt, uh, maybe a statement piece, a nice watch or something. In the book, he wears a lot of the fraternity loungewear, like the shorts and the shirts. Uh, and then there is like going out, the grown and sexy, and it's a little bit more form fitting, a little bit more grown, got the chesticles out, showing off the cleavage, and something that's showing a little bit more skin, but pretty casual. Let's see. Do they wear makeup? No, Ashley doesn't wear makeup. Do they consider themselves fat or skinny? So Ashley has a pretty fit body. Ashley's a small guy. Um, it it's alluded to that maybe he was a little thicker before, and being a short person carried his weight a little bit differently than if you were like 6 feet tall, 300 pounds versus like 5 foot 300 pounds. He wasn't 300 pounds, but he's a small, fit guy, a little petite dude, I suppose. I think he's like at 5'7", 5'7" ish. I think that's what I put. What's their national? He's American. He's American. This story is set in a fictional city that exists in America. Um, do they have any birthmarks? As of now, no. Of course, things could be retconned, but no, I didn't put any birthmarks into Ashley's story. But hey, who's to say there won't be a novella or a short story that explores a possible birthmark in a scene? Who knows? What's their skin tone? Brown, lighter brown. Let me see. Who could I think of? So Aaron Pierre would be a little bit too light. But like maybe Kevin Hart would be a little bit too dark. So somewhere in that range, I'd say maybe a little lighter than me. And I care, but I don't care. I just know that he's not explicitly a red bone, high yellow, light skinned dude, but he's a little bit lighter. What is their face shape? I really don't know how to answer this. Like, it's an oval. He's an oval shape. Like, he's actually has an oval shaped face. I don't know, because it is obstructed by the. If you've seen the cover, the cover, you see his face is obstructed. Let's see. So now we're going to move on to questions about your character's background and lifestyle. This should be fun, and this is also kind of testing how well do I know my own main character. Okay, where were they born? Castellanans, USA. They were born in the city that they reside. Who are their parents? So the parents are not mentioned. I have some things I'm working on with the parents. Well, I'll say that. Their parents are there. Where do they live? They live in Southwest Granville, which is if we're looking at a map of Castellanans, you're facing it. It's the bottom left side is this area. It's a pretty kind of regular, traditional city. You have your shops, you have your apartments, you have your homes. It's just a nice, trendy little spot. There are some families there, but it's a lot of younger folks. And I say younger, like 20s, early mid 20s, early 30s, but it's just a nice, regular part of town. What do they do for a living? So Ashley works in public relations and in brand management. In the book, he does mention what he does for work, and there's some things that come up with work, but it's a lot of branding. It is a lot of marketing. It's a lot of figuring out what clients need, the best light to position them in, things like that. What is their greatest achievement? Now, this one is a little interesting. What would be Ashley's greatest achievement? I think it's a collection of things. It's graduating college, getting into the career that he enjoys, and then not to give too much, but also there's like the romantic element. You'll see that as the story goes on, but really it's where he is in his life when the story opens. For a lot of people, because of certain circumstances, some people don't see themselves living past a certain age. Some people don't see themselves getting a degree. Some people don't see themselves making a certain amount of money. And it's not that he has this negative outlook on life, but he's a guy who has, lived a pretty traditional life, and now you're in a space where you're comfortable. And so that's where his greatest accomplishment lies, is in the work that he's put in that got him to this point that we see him in the book. Let's see. What's the most embarrassing thing that's happened to him? Well, shit, I don't want to give any spoilers, but it's some shit that happens in that book that I'll say that. I'm going to leave that. Some answers I may not be able to answer because it's just release day. I don't want to give that out. Perhaps I'll revisit this list in about a couple weeks and then answer them all outright. We'll see. If we search their name on Google, what would we find? You'd find his degree. You'd find him being an active member of his fraternity. You would find his work with his job, like the actual work and projects that they've had. You would also find some political stuff. Um, I'll leave it at that. You'll find some political stuff as well, but you would find a lot of his volunteer work, his work he's done with school, his work he's done with his fraternity, and his job. He has a great job. Um, when was the first time they fell in love? Jesus. So the first time they fell in love was actually about 5 years before the opening of this book, and that mm, I'd say 4 years, 4.5, 5 years from the before the book opens, and that boy, that was a doozy. That was a fucking doozy. What's their biggest secret? What would be their biggest secret? I'd have to. Well, I can't. Well, I want to say that's also something in the book, but then again, I don't. Well, actually, yeah, I can say that because I'm thinking of two things, and I'm just going to say that's in the book as well. Their biggest secret. What is their biggest regret? Also in the book, gets addressed. Do they have any bad habits? I think communication. We'll say that. We'll say letting things get a little bit too far when a simple conversation could have cleared up a lot of mess. I'll say that. So communication, an effective communicator, especially when it comes to work, but when it comes down to other stuff, we'll say communication isn't always great. Did they attend high school, college? Yeah, they attended high school, and of course they went to college, graduated. Um, 9 years ago? Nope, nine. It's been six, like 6 years ago, something like that. I don't know. It's in the book. What's the worst thing that's ever happened to? Ooh, shit, in the book. It's in the book. Let's see. Questions about your character's interests. What's their favorite movie? Let me see. What would be Ashley's favorite movie? Um, it would probably be like Love Jones. I could see Love Jones being Ashley's favorite movie. That 90s, I would say heartthrob. I mean, Lorenz Tate was a handsome guy, but that black 90s feel, that very particular specific feel, I think Love Jones, and there's a couple of other movies around that time that I think also conjure up that feeling, but I think Love Jones being the first one to come to mind, that is more than likely Ashley's favorite movie. What's their favorite food? Probably brunch food, chicken and waffles, freaking mimosas, orange juice, champagne, um, what is it? Potato wedges and steak and eggs. And shit. So brunch food that you could have for a Sunday fun day, and ain't nobody looking at you like you're crazy. So I'd say brunch food. Um, what TV shows do they watch? Well, we know Ashley likes anime. Ashley likes anime and bad movies. Like the when I, well, bad like low budget movies and bad movies too. There are some bad movies, but do they have any hobbies? Well, really, Ashley's job extends from his hobby. So that's his job, which is not like ideal. You want to have a fully fledged life outside of your job, but again, I'm looking at these questions for the first time. I'm just going to go with his job. Um, what's their favorite color? Favorite color, like a maroon-ish color, maroon in the purple family, colors in that area. What is the greatest extravagance they allow themselves? Well, actually has a card for extravagances. So, I'm trying to think, what would be one of the greatest? Hmm. I mean, there's a desk for his office that's like pretty expensive. Really, the whole office furnishing itself is like very expensive. I'd go with that just as a because I can't. I mean, there's other stuff that I could probably allude to, but I think that's safe. I'll just go with their office, furnishing their office. What is their most treasured possession? Would probably be, oh. I can't say this because it's in the book, but it is something like it's not like a diamond ring or it's a tangible physical thing, but it's something that you wouldn't. It has sentimental value. I'll say that. And once you read it, I think you can figure it out, but I'll leave it there. Um, which living person would they most want to meet? Which dead person? Ooh, living person they most want to meet. Uh Interesting. That is an interesting one. That's a good question. I never really considered that. Off the fly, maybe Beyonce. They like to meet. But the most, I don't know about the most. They like to meet her, sure, but the most, I'll stick with Beyonce for now because I do think Renaissance is a very special place in Ashley's heart. So I'll say Beyonce for now. Um, which dead person? Hmm, hmm. I mm, that is an interesting question that I have not put a lot of thought into. For some reason, I want to say Malcolm X. I don't like what, but I also don't want to give you the wrong idea about this book. This is a romance book. This is with a lot of other shit going on, but I'm gonna stick with it. Fuck it, Beyonce and Malcolm X. So okay, so questions about your character's relationship. Now this I probably have to skip a lot of things because I'm thinking the relationship. The book is the relationship. Who do they consider? Oh, here we go. Who do they consider their closest friend or best friend? Well, Ashley has two. Billy Zaire and Cien, excuse me, and they are the three of them, the three amigos, three musketeers, the ABC 1, 2, 3. You know me, they are besties, locked in, tight for life. Do they have a romantic partner? Yes. Yes, they do. Yes, he does. Which family members are they close with? So I'm going to hold off on that. Or I'll do kind of a generic. I'll say they're his brothers, i.e. the best friends. I'll say that because I don't want to give something up. Um who do they share their deepest secrets? They're brothers. They're his brothers. Like they are his fraternity brothers. Do they have any coworkers they're close with that they can't stand? That kind of sort of, but not so much. Like Ashley loves his job. There's no one who he's like, I fucking hate this motherfucker. No. So I'll say no. Um, who do they trust? Why does that? Who do they trust? Who do they trust? Well, it's brothers. Like what? Okay. Who would they turn to for help? That one is a little tricky. So it would be his brothers, of course, but a lot of Ashley's issue is um not relying on his brothers to the extent that he should. So that'll be in the book as well. What is the relationship like with their parents? It is a good relationship. I can say that it is a good relationship. Let's see. Characters. Questions about your characters' thoughts and emotions. What's their spirit animal? Pass. What are their biggest pet peeves? Ashley's biggest pet peeve would probably be uncertainty. Like where there should be certainty. Like if you're at a job and you know how much you make an hour and you're trying to move up, but the rules are unclear. If it's not a standard, after a year you're eligible for a raise, or like after a year and this has been your productivity, then you qualify for this. Like if it's very unclear, very well, just do your job well, that would piss him off. So for him, it is that uncertainty where there should be certainty. It's not like, oh, what movie do you want to go see? No, it's like, motherfucker, what are we doing? So yeah, that would be his biggest pet peeve. Do they consider themselves an introvert or an extrovert? I think Ashley is an extrovert. This is part of his job. You have to be on, you have to be turned on, you have to handle your client. You have to be at these meetings. You have to facilitate these meetings. You have to create these projects, these parties, these events, and whatnot. Um, I want to say introverted extrovert or extroverted introvert, but I don't think that's true. Ashley is reserved, but it's always out doing something and is always having a good, never want to be like, no, I'll just stay in the house. Like, unless there's a specific reason. Um, what does perfect happiness look like to them? Well, that kind of changes. I don't want to give up too much. Again, this will be something in the book, but I'll say it changes, but the feeling of what it is always the same, but the specifics around it do change. What is their greatest fear? What keeps them up at night? It would probably be that they are too much for someone else um to handle, and not too much like, oh, I'm bitch, I'm this and that. No, it's like too much like, this person is going to be tired of me because I am too much emotionally to deal with. That is definitely his biggest fear. Um, are they a glass half full or glass half empty kind of person? Glass half full for sure. I mean, we all have our moments where you kind of get down or you get frustrated or annoyed, but overall, it's very much glass half full. Oh, that was it. All right. So I would definitely leave that link in the show notes so you guys can look through the article yourself. There was more like to it as far as the article portion is concerned that I wasn't reading through. But yeah, that's been my Ashley's getting to know you. I don't know. So if you made this far, go ahead and give me the purple heart emoji. Give me that. I like that color. That's Ashley's favorite color too. Give me that purple heart emoji. And again, Ashley, Loving Ashley, paperback, June 10th is already live. Make sure to pick that up. And if you are a ebook girly, you somebody who wants to read on your Kindle, wait for Friday, June 13th, Friday the 13th, to get the ebook version. And once you read, go ahead and throw up a review. We very much appreciate over here at Rhayne Coleman, Reading, Writing, Rhayne headquarters. And be sure to check out the newsletter, sign up for that. Listen to the soundtrack. I do have the Loving Ashley soundtrack that plays every song that's in the book and then some. So make sure to check that out. What else? Pre-order still up. Playlist, Goodreads. If you're someone who reviews on Goodreads, I mean, I have a link in the show notes as well. So there's a link to the pre-order, to the newsletter, to the Goodreads, to the website, to the. I feel like I'm missing something. I don't know. It's all down there. So thank you. And for everyone who's watched one video, all videos, been following me on this journey for years, just popped in just now, I appreciate you all. This has been a journey. I'm so happy I was able to document it. Hopefully I can do the same for every single book going forward. But even if I don't, this being the first official release of Rhayne Coleman, I am happy with the words that I put on that page and with the story that I have told. And at this point, it's out of my hands. I hope you guys enjoy it just as much, if not more, than me. And thank you. Again, I'm Rhayne Coleman. I'm a love story architect, writing stories about Black folks in various situations. Right now, Loving Ashley is that's my baby. And I'll be moving on to book 2 relatively quickly. Also, I signed up. Well, I applied for Black Romance Book Festival 2026. I'm going to bring it up every video if I have to. I hope that I am selected because I would love to have this full Lover Boy series done by the time I get there next year, June. So be looking out for a pre-order for the second book following 𝙻𝙟𝓼𝑒𝓚, the second best friend in the Lover Boy series. Thank y'all so much. Follow, subscribe, hit the socials, all that good stuff. And until next time, read something, write something, and come back and tell me, Rhayne. Read my book, write a review, and come back and tell me, Rhayne. All right.